Welcome back, listeners, to Sandman Stories Presents, a folklore podcast where I read you to sleep or until the next story. I'm your host, Dustin. Today we are back in the book of Louisiana folklore written down by Alcée Fortier. In today's story, we'll learn about being careful with your choices and how choosing a dirty egg can save your life. Okay, let's begin. The Devil's Marriage. Once there was a pretty young girl, but she was very proud, and every time the young man came to court her, she found a pretext to send them away. One was too small, another too tall, another had red hair. In short, she refused all her suitors. One day her mother said to her, "My daughter, you see that tall, tall tree in the middle of the river? I'm going to put this pumpkin on the smallest branch at the top of the tree, and the young man who will be able to climb up and catch the pumpkin will be your husband." The daughter said she had no objection, so they put a notice in the newspapers. The next week a crowd of young men presented themselves, and among them one who was beautifully dressed and exceedingly handsome. He was the devil, but nobody knew him. The young girl told her mother, "I wish he would fetch the pumpkin." All of the young men climbed on the tree, but none succeeded in reaching the pumpkin. When the turn of the devil came, in 1 minute he was up the tree and had the pumpkin in his hand. As soon as he was down, he said to the young girl, "Come now, come with me to my house." The girl put on her best dress and went away with the devil. On the road they met a man who said to the devil, "Give me my cravat and my collar which I had lent to you." The devil took off his cravat and his collar and said, "Here, take your old cravat and your old collar." A little further on, another man saw the devil and told him, "Give me my shirt which I had lent to you." The devil took off his shirt and said, "Here, here, take your old shirt." A little further he saw another man who said to him, "Give me my cloak which I lent to you." The devil took off his cloak and said, "Here, here, take your old cloak." A little further on, a man asked for his trousers, and then another one for his hat. The devil took off his trousers and the hat and said, "Here, here, take your old trousers and your old hat." He came down from his carriage and disappeared for a few minutes. Then he returned as well dressed as before. The young lady was beginning to be very frightened when they met another man who said, "Give me my horses which I had lent to you." The devil gave him 4 horses and said to his wife, "Get down from the carriage and hitch yourself to it." She drew the carriage as far as the devil's house and was so frightened that her heart was almost in her mouth. The devil entered his garden and he said to his wife, "Remain here with my mother." As soon as he was gone, the mother said to the young lady, "Ah, my daughter, you have taken a bad husband. You have married the devil." The poor girl was so sorry that she did not know what to do, and she said to the old woman, "Can't you tell me how I can run away?" The old woman replied, "Yes, wait until tomorrow morning, but come, let me show you something." She opened the door of a little room and said, "Look, my daughter." The girl looked in the room, and what did she see? A number of women hanging from a nail. She was so frightened that she asked the old woman if she could not hide her somewhere until the next morning. The woman said, "Yes, but let me tell you how you can escape from here. When the devil tells you to give 1 sack of corn to his rooster, which wakes him up in the morning, you will give him 3 sacks, so that he eats more and does not crow so early. Then you go to the chicken house and take 6 dirty eggs. Take care not to take clean eggs. That will bring you bad luck." The next morning the young lady gave the rooster 3 sacks of corn, while she took the eggs and ran away. When the rooster had finished eating his 3 sacks, he crowed, "Mr. Devil, wake up, wake up! Someone has run away from the house." The devil got up quickly and started to run after his wife. The poor girl looked behind her and saw smoke and fire. Indeed, the devil himself. She took an egg and broke it. A high wooden fence arose in the middle of the road. The devil had to return home to get his golden axe to cut down the fence. After he had broken down the fence, he took his axe to his house. The girl looked behind her. She saw smoke and fire, the devil himself. She broke another egg, and there grew an iron fence. The devil went home to get his golden axe and had to take it back after breaking the fence. The girl looked again. There was fire and smoke. She broke another egg, and a great fire rose up in the road. The devil went to get his jar of water to put out the fire, and then he had to take the jar back. The girl heard again a noise. It was smoke and fire. She threw another egg. A brick wall grew up. The devil went to get his golden axe and carried it back after breaking the wall. The girl looked again. She saw fire and smoke. She broke another egg. A small river appeared, in which was a small canoe. She entered the canoe and crossed the river, and the devil was obliged to swim across. The girl looked again. She saw fire and smoke. She broke another egg, and a large river appeared. There was a big crocodile on the other side of the river, warming himself in the sun. The girl sang, "Grandmother, I pray you, cross me over, grandmother, I pray you, save my life." The crocodile said, "Climb on my back, my little one, I'll save your life." The devil saw how the girl had crossed the river, so he said to the crocodile, "Cross me over, crocodile, cross me over." The crocodile replied, "Climb on my back, I shall cross you over." When he reached the middle of the river, he dove under the water, and the devil was drowned. When the girl had left her mother's house with her husband, her mother had called to her, "Well, my child, what do you wish me to do with your old white horse?" The girl said to her mother, "I don't care what you do. Put him out in the pasture and let him die if he wants to." However, when she crossed the river on the crocodile's back, she saw her old horse in the pasture and said to him, "I pray to you, old body, save my life." The horse replied, "Oh, now you want me to save your life. Didn't you tell your mother to let me die if I wanted? Well, climb on my back, I shall carry you now to your mother." The girl soon reached her mother's house. She got down from the horse and she kissed him, and then she kissed her mother. She remained at home after that, and did not wish to marry again, after having had the devil for her husband. The end. All right, I like that story. There's always a bit of history with that, and getting married is always a tricky thing. You don't really know your partner until you get married, and even then they can change. And for a long time, I mean, even now it's still dangerous for women, but back before women could own property, before they could have credit cards, before they could do a lot of that stuff, you were just at the mercy of your spouse, and that's wild. And so I love these Louisiana stories, and I like the egg cracking. I like the having to go back and get stuff and repeating in the story. It was all really nice, and the horse at the end was real cute. Okay, and the podcast shout out is to my friend Theshira over at Legendary Africa. She has been super busy obtaining her PhD, so the storytelling has been put on pause for the moment. But she's a cool person and has a lot of lovely stories on tap. And not enough African folklore is in the public eye. So if you love her show as much as I do, go and give her a like, a rating, and a review. And the listener shout out is to Plzen Czechia. Yes, that is the Plzen as in a Pilsner beer. And is no longer Czechoslovakia, nor is it the Czech Republic. It is now Czechia. Plzen was and still is an important city on the route from Bohemia to Bavaria. The city's castle was first mentioned in 976. It became famous for the beer brewing in 1307 and never looked back. Sadly, the city was occupied by German forces in World War II, and the entire Jewish population of 2,000 people were sent to the concentration camp in Plzen, Germany. Today, the city is known for its Baroque architecture and Pilsner Urquell beer. I would love to go and try an adult beverage in their town square. I really do hope to visit there someday. And so, to my listener in Plzen, I say in Czech, Dziękuję I dobrą noc. Thank you, and good night.